Hey, what's up, Faithbox? Happy Monday to you guys, waking up bright and early. I am in a hotel room in South Carolina at the time that I am filming this, and we have a devotion today, a scripture from Romans chapter 4, verse 18, a powerful verse about hope. It says this: even when there was no reason for hope, Abraham kept hoping, believing that he would become the father of many nations. If you're unfamiliar with the story of Abraham and his wife Sarah, then you should spend some time reading and becoming familiar with their journey of despair and hope. You can find their story in the Old Testament book of Genesis between chapters 12 and 22. The short summary is that God promised a son to Abraham and Sarah when they were both very old in age. For decades, they struggled and suffered with infertility, unable to bear children on their own. Through this experience, their faith was tested and their hope for a son waned at times. In fact, they even attempted to bring about God's promise by taking matters into their own hands, which only created further disappointment and tension. But despite the setbacks, disappointments, doubts, frustrations, and challenges, we're told that Abraham kept hoping. Even when he had no hope, or had no evidence or reason to hope, he chose to believe God and take him at his word. And what we learn from Abraham and Sarah is that even in the bleakest of circumstances, hope is still a choice. Will you choose hope today? Now, personally, I relate to this story. I relate to this verse, particularly around infertility. I know there's many women in the Faithbox community. I imagine there's women who have struggled or suffered through infertility, not just like 1 month or 3 months, but years and years and years. And my wife and I have literally gone through this same journey. We have one daughter, but we always have desired more than one daughter. For the past 8 years, we've tried multiple ways to, have another child, and it's just not worked, even to the point of meeting with infertility doctors. And we've lost two natural pregnancies that have miraculously happened after our daughter Gia, the most recent of which being a year ago on Mother's Day, actually. We spent Mother's Day of 2020 in an emergency room as Krista miscarried a baby. And, that still has kind of rocked our world. It's a year later and we're still trying to make sense of what God was doing in that, what God's purpose is coming out of that, I should say, have been, and trying to sort through that in our lives, spiritually, emotionally, relationally. And so when I read the story of Abraham, I find a lot of hope. I find a lot of ability to relate, because it says that even when there was no reason to hope, he kept hoping. And that's kind of what it feels like in our journey for my family specifically. But for you, it might not be about infertility. And maybe it is. But maybe it's about something else. Maybe it's about marriage. Maybe it's about finding a partner. Maybe it's about just the journey that you're on, and just kind of like being beat down and overwhelmed. And you're like, I have no reason to believe, no reason to hope that something is going to be different or that things are going to get better. And I just want you to know that, as the devotion says at the end, hope is still a choice. I'm choosing today to hope, even though it's difficult. Quite honestly, even though it hurts, I'm still choosing to hope. I hope that you'll still choose to hope. And I hope that our hope will lead to a place of promise and provision. And as Romans chapter 5 says, that it won't lead to disappointment. I keep reminding myself, if I find myself disappointed, this is just, I'm passing by. God is not he's not leading me to disappointment. He's leading me through disappointment. So I trust that this devotion will encourage you today. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow as we continue with Everyday Faith.